Well, I didn't lay as much butter as I thought I was going to.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't bring my bread. Alright boys and girls, welcome back to another video. Welcome back to Orlando Executive Airport, where I'm just walking to Cessna Skyboat. Today's student pilot is Jim. Now Jim was a student pilot way back in I think 2004. He sent me an email recently requesting a flight to kind of try and get him back into flight training. Thought it would be a good idea to bring him up and see how he does, see how a student pilot who's been out of the game for years does on his first flight back. I'm going to let Jim do as much as he's comfortable with doing. Probably won't remember everything, but that's why I'm here. But I think this is going to be a really cool video to kind of show you how much proficiency you lose from not flying for so many years, but also to see what you remember and see how quickly it comes back. It's like riding a bike. We'll take him up, get him into the sky. It's a beautiful day for it. Picked a very nice day. We'll see how he does. So if you enjoy this video, leave it a like, subscribe to LewDix Aviation if you haven't subscribed already. If you don't want to miss other amazing content like this, I'm back making general aviation videos, so don't miss it. Get yourself subscribed. I'm going to pre-flight and then we'll get going.
Welcome to LewDix Aviation, the home of fun-filled aviation videos. I invite you to like, subscribe, and enjoy the flight as I welcome you to the sky. LewDix Aviation videos are edited to be as entertaining as possible. This may remove context. Many procedures, situations, explanations, and flight phases have been edited out. Do not use for instructional purposes. This video is for entertainment purposes only.
We're going to taxi over over that way. Let's see how your taxi goes.
Runway 13 and giving way
This will be, let me get these.
Get your bearings, man. Now the big question is, can you come to a full stop without going off left and right? That's the question.
Well, the bigger question is, can I come to a stop? That's what you mean. Hold on.
There it is.
Executive ground, Skyhawk 734 Mike Golf at Romeo 2. Taxi, VFR, closed traffic, touch and goes with Yankee.
Cessna 734 Mike Golf, runway 7 Alpha 7, taxi via Foxtrot, Kilo, hold short of Alpha. Cessna 734 Mike Golf, continue taxiing via Alpha, thank you.
Great, 734 Mike Golf. We need a run up. Any chance of going to the Golf run up area? Oh, never mind. Hold 2, just up.
Roger. Yeah, no problem. You can take hold 2 then. If I do appreciate you asking before doing so though.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Amazing. He's back.
I could do it on the two-dimensional.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. just wait till you add this in. Oh.
The departure briefing. So on the departure briefing, on takeoff, if we should see this that we need to address on the ground, we'll just come to a full stop and taxi off. If we have an issue after we rotate, we have enough runway left, we'll go ahead and land. If we've rotated, we don't have enough runway to land, we'll limit our turns to 20 to 30, no more than 30 degrees, and pick that spot and put her down there. If we should get up to about pattern altitude, we'll go ahead and attempt to land back at the airport.
Cool, perfect. Let's talk with that about the traffic patterns and landings. So you can rotate 55 to 60. 55 is a bit sluggish, so maybe wait till 60. 73 is VY.
Bound runway 31.
Making sure head on a swivel. So looking at the runway, making sure you center line on the departure leg.
Right.
Going to be a slight wind off the left. Shouldn't be too much. And then at 700 feet is when I like turning crosswind. They may give us extensions, they may, change the instructions or whatever, so we'll be cognizant of that. But 700 feet is the usual point to crosswind. Downwind, you're looking for 1100 feet at a nice distance, not too far, not too close. Right. I'll kind of, if you need instruction, I'll give you some, but I want to see how you do. 1100 feet on downwind, trim it out. The checklist will already all be done. When we're beam the numbers or when we're ready to start our descent, depending on the extension of the downwind, we'll pull the carb heat and then we'll pull the power. So you can pull the carb heat, pull the power back to about 1600 RPM, something like that. 10 degrees of flaps, and then kind of get the descent going. You're looking for about 80 knots for the descent on the downwind. Turning base, about 70 to 75 with 20 degrees of flaps.
30 degrees of flaps on final once we've made the runway. This thing goes all the way down to 40. We're not going to use 40 degrees of flaps. Don't really want to do that. It's going to cause too much drag and this thing just drops. So, yeah, and then once we get coming towards the runway, you're looking for about 60 to 65 knots. Nose low until you get into ground effect. Now, your judgment may be off a little bit for the first one or two. Just pull it into ground effect, and the way that I always say it is just hold the nose to the end of the runway. It's going to be, at first you're going to hold the nose there, and it's going to be like you're holding it level. That you're just bleeding off the speed, but your nose is still to the end of the runway.
And you're looking long.
You're looking long, exactly. As the aircraft wants to drop away, once it loses the energy, you've still got to hold the nose up to the end of the runway, and that is your flare right there.
Right.
And then that's going to hopefully bring you in. You have to be on airspeed for that to work. You know, if you're too fast, it's going to balloon. If you're too slow, it's going to drop. I'll help you out where needed, but I'm very interested to see how this goes, sir.
Number 734, Mike Golf, left close traffic approved, runway 7, at Alpha 7, clear for takeoff, traffic 2 mile final.
Clear for takeoff 734 Mike Golf, make left traffic.
Oh, remain outside the Bravo, frequency change approved 929.
Okay. Go with full power.
And then slide your heels to the floor so you don't hit the brakes. There you go.
12907 Foxtrot at Alpha 7, ready for departure.
Stand by.
Okay, airspeed's live, engine's green. Got 50. Looking for 55, 60, rotate. Got some right rudder, up way too high. Looking for 73.
Welcome to the sky, man.
Welcome to the sky.
We're doing it.
Alright, finally got the center line back.
Cool, man.
Okay, clear at the end of the runway.
Exactly. So if you just look behind us, the
Number
runway,
1297
we're going off to the right side, so we need to
turn northwest
come
on
to the
cruise,
left
runway 7,
to
at Alpha 7,
maintain
clear
that
for
center line.
takeoff.
That's probably just that little wind pushing us,
Right,
pushing
yeah,
us
I'm not
off.
correcting for the wind.
Exactly.
Okay, we got about 700
Let's do it.
crosswind.
Perfect. Nice speed control. Very nice speed control.
Runway 7, ready for takeoff.
I love welcoming people back to the sky and certainly helping shake off some rust that's been building for 19 years. Given this is Jim's first flight in a very long time, I'm going to be doing my best to give him little instructions here and there to make sure he's doing the right thing, but trying not to be overbearing. I'm not looking for perfection from him today. That's not the goal of this flight. What I do want, though, is to make sure the principle of primacy is in full effect. So when he does get back into flight training full time, he's got a solid foundation to work from. These two lakes here,
Right.
if you're just cutting on the south side of this top, the northern lake,
Number 114,
that's a good
Foxtrot,
downwind.
Alpha,
Yep.
traffic on
Clear for takeoff, runway 7, Alpha
Nice.
7. And then
Nice. And then trim as necessary. Whatever you need. How do you feel?
Good.
Yeah? You're looking good, man. 2004 was the last time that this happened.
Yes.
2004, man.
Object Tower, Diamond Star 8902, Papa Alpha behind.
Before I even started flying.
Alpha 7, ready for departure.
And then as far as a reference past the lake, the northernmost building, the one that we're heading towards now, that's a good building to kind of head towards. If you're like towards it or just to the right of it, that's good.
November 4, Mike Golf, extend downwind, I'll call your base.
Extend downwind, you'll call the base. 734 Mike Golf.
Yeah, that's what I remember a lot is extending the downwind.
Yep. Well, you've kept a nice distance on the downwind, kept us on a good downwind heading.
November 4, Mike Golf, base approved, runway 7, cleared touch and go. Expected one more departure prior to your arrival.
So cleared touch and go for 734 Michael. So, before the power reduction, we can get the carb heat.
Northwest bound
So now
approved,
you're already
runway
below
7, at
85, you can get 10 degrees of flaps in. Perfect. And you can look for that,
Northwest approved crew
Whoa.
there you go. And you can look for that airspeed, you can turn base. About 70 to 75 knots on a base, so you're going to want to trim for that. There you go. Final's clear.
Kind of looks clear. After, I will probably put in nitro flaps in after establishing final.
Cool, sounds good. I'm all
Another
for
one.
that. So what do you think? You think we're high or low?
Clear track
I think
391,
we're a
I'll
bit
call your base.
high.
Bit high. That's
no.
interesting. That's interesting.
Well, oh yeah, no, we're low, 2 red.
There you go.
So So let's level off a bit.
Exactly.
A little power.
Level it off.
Airspeed.
Exactly, so a little bit more power, that's going to afford you to drop the nose a little bit so you can increase that speed. You're doing a fantastic job of that. Glorious.
Alright, let's go with 10 more degrees.
It's good. So that's 30 degrees right there, so that's all the flaps that we'll use. It's difficult because there's no real notches.
I know, I don't
on
feel
it.
the click like these.
Exactly. So still a little bit low, so keep that power in, keep that level attitude. Just do whatever you can do to maintain the center line of the runway.
7, clear touch and go number 2.
Remember, you've got the rudders as well. There we go, now we're on it. This is a nice picture. This is the picture you want all the way down with the nose towards the runway, not too low, not too high. You've got a good airspeed at the moment, we just need to be cognizant of that, making sure we don't drop too far below that. Alright, so we're keeping the nose down towards the runway. This is a beautiful picture, very, very nice picture. Your airspeed is actually okay. If you can keep this picture like this, keep doing what you're doing, man. Keep doing what you're doing, all the way down. So now you can kind of keep it coming down. That's a little bit too high. Drop the power back a little bit, and drop it to idle. Eyes to the end of the runway. Hold it kind of level just there. Let the speed bleed off all the way to idle. A little bit too much, hold it there.
Information Zulu current.
Alright, copy.
The carb heat is off.
And no brakes, no brakes. There we go, full power.
Right rudder. Airspeed's 5, engine.
Full power, all the way in there, all the way in there. And no brakes.
Kayak 618.
There we go. Welcome back to the sky.
Thank you.
First touch and go since 2004.
Change of route.
There's a lot going on.
They're in, yep.
Like I said, it's just check the things you do when you're coming in, you know, doing it and trying to stay right in sync with that, you know, and anticipating that.
Yeah.
I find myself, once I get a little bit overtaxed, that's when I'm like you said, I'm probably missing, okay, you're a little bit high, you're a little bit low, or your power's getting a little bit low, you know, so it's little things like that, like I see you in your videos all the time, you're focused on airspeed, and as you're coming in, lined up with the runway and all that, right? So you're right there where you need to be, as opposed to me, where I'm still a little bit behind.
You've done a really nice job this time of maintaining the center line of the runway.
I kind of picked a point out.
Good. On the landing, just needed to bring that power back all the way once you're in ground effect, and not flaring too high, and also not holding the nose in one set position. Eyes at the end of the runway and just do whatever you need to do to maintain the nose on it. If it's going too high, you know you're going to balloon.
Right.
You know. Take your feet off the rudders. You're holding left rudder, so just be aware of that. That's probably lead foot syndrome from driving.
Yeah, well, I'm like real tense on the rudder right now.
Yeah.
November 4, Mike Golf, runway 7, cleared touch and go, traffic Cirrus departing.
Cleared touch and go, runway 7, 734 Mike Golf.
Perfect, we get to do a normal one, so whenever you're ready, it'll be carb heat before power.
Okay, we'll go with numbers. RP. Power, go with 10 notch of flaps.
Just to pull that power back a little bit more, 1600 or so, there you go, that's what you want to hear. And then just pull that nose up a little bit so we can bleed off the speed.
Shooting for 80.
Yeah, there you go. Now we can get the flap 10 degrees. Beautiful, right there. Trim for about 80. You've got 80 right now, you're looking beautiful. And now it's judgment call as to when to turn. That's good.
Crew track 391, do you have the Skyhawk left base inside?
Affirmative, traffic inside. Shooting for 70.
Crew track 391, follow Skyhawk runway 7.
Getting a little bit low again. So just kind of level that off.
More power.
6 off November.
A little bit more power. There you go.
Make it to 030 to join us straight in final.
And then turn final.
Make it 03 final, 6 Gulf November.
Airspeed, a little bit low.
A little bit low. We're on final. We're on glide. Got to line it up. Keep it loose on those rudders, loosey-goosey. Looks like we've made the runway.
7392.
So we can go flaps 30 degrees. And now we can focus on getting that airspeed. Add a little bit more power in there to arrest that descent rating. And then keep the nose down to the runway. Keep it down, keep it down.
Hey, good morning, Executive Tower, Skyhawk 516.
Needs to come down further, Idaho.
Miles southwest landing.
A little bit of power, nose down.
Skyhawk 5160 Papa, so just heading
Nose down,
340
nose down,
to join us
nose down.
straight in
There you go,
final
that's what we
runway.
want. Alright, so now you can kind of start to transition your eyes to the end of the runway. Holding the nose back, just kind of hold it to the end of the runway. Power all the way back.
You're going to be number 4.
All the way back with the power. It's going to drop on you.
Woohoo! Was a little hard.
Copy.
Repeat. Off.
Flaps up. And full power.
Power to
Heels to the floor. Cool.
airspeed's alive, engines are green. At 60, rotate.
We are back. Welcome back to the sky. Yeah, I can feel you very tense on the rudder. There is a little, very slight crosswind from the left side, but we're kind of holding the nose in that position.
Holding it left.
Yeah.
Got it straight.
Got to straighten it up a little bit, and also kind of this is no slight on you. I'm not criticising, saying that you need to be perfect. I'm just saying kind of how it is. We're becoming a passenger when we come into land. What I mean by that is you're setting something and you're just hoping and hoping and hoping that the aircraft is going to do what you want it to do. That's what's happening.
November runway.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in there.
Yeah, 100%. And like you say, you at certain points you kind of freeze up a little bit or over focus on one thing because you're trying to think, oh, how does that go again? So
Yeah, the one thing I never really got comfortable with is the rudder though.
yeah, I've noticed with students occasionally they'll rest the left foot on the left pedal, and it causes, without them noticing it because it's such a small change, but it's like grabbing to the left side when we don't need it.
Right.
And that can be the case, coming in on final as well, an accidental little push on that. Because let's be honest, let's be fair, when we're out of practice or whatever, we forget these rudder pedals exist. New students do it, and then when you've been out of practice, you forget they're there.
For a student like me, now I remember that back even then. I remember rudders were not something I was always like on top of.
Yeah.
It just felt like, I would look at the ball to see if I was coordinated or not.
I mean, this is good, if you're on, if you're taking off, you're on the climb. But when you're coming into land, it's centre line of the runway. That is your best indicator of what you need.
Nice though, I can already see you're a little bit more comfortable than you were on the first one.
Cessna 4 Mike Golf runway 7, clear touch and go, number 2.
Clear touch and go, number 2 for 734 Mike Golf. Airspeed is getting just a little bit too low. That nose towards the runway. Bit pushed over, there you go. Pull the power back about 1600. There we go, you got plenty of airspeed, you don't need any more power, you can pull the power. Keep the nose coming down, eyes to the end of the runway. Hold it there, let the speed bleed off, and as it drops, pull back a little bit more. Going off to the left, to the right side a little bit. Copy. Flaps.
Power up.
And
Airspeed 5, got about 60.
welcome back to the sky.
That's where doing slow flight and stalls out in the traffic out in the practice area help a lot.
That's true, because you get to do a lot of that
Exactly.
when you're not taxed with coming in for a landing too.
100%. It builds those skills to get you up to that point where you can use them in the traffic pattern. Because if you think about it, if you're doing slow flight, I know you're in the practice area, slow flight, we do it nose high, which is the same principles, pitch for airspeed, power for altitude, that it is on landing.
Right.
And you can kind of get those skills. But if you have the foundations of being able to make flying easy for yourself, as far as like trimming it out, getting your power settings, and the landings become a hell of a lot easier. And again, you've not done this since 2004, so you're not going to have any of that. So it was never going to be perfect greased landings.
But your approaches are actually quite nice. The only thing I would say is that you're adding too much power and pulling too much power off. Also, during the flare, during the eyes to the end of the runway and the flare, you're becoming a passenger again, just kind of setting something and hitting and hoping that it's gonna work. Let me give you a picture of what I like to do. If I can take the controls,
your controls,
my controls, so I can kind of talk you through it. 700 feet, make a left turn.
7 extended center line.
The trim that I've already put in there is actually okay. It's keeping my nose down. So now it's just playing with the power to kind of stop descending too much. And then if you need to pitch up, you can pitch up. See how that guy's being pushed off to the right as well.
Right. And I noticed you came in. I've been kind of overshooting the runway, so I'm trying to pull against the wind.
Exactly. You
kind of cut it early a little bit so you could push into it. And
exactly. Kind of anticipate it a little bit. I've gone a little bit low there, and the nose is actually wanting to come up, so I'm going to trim myself down a little bit so I can keep that nose down towards the runway. And I've got my airspeed between 60 and 65, and now my eyes are starting to move to the end of the runway. See how late I've left it to kind of pull it back. So now I don't need any more power. I can just hold the nose back towards the end of the runway and let the speed bleed off. And once the energy bleeds, you can pull back a little bit more. And this is just holding it to the end of the runway. That's it.
Reduce your speed for spacing.
And the wind is actually not pushing much on the ground.
To intercept final.
That's kind of what we're looking for.
I noticed you have a good sense of your airspeed even without looking at it. As we were coming in and you were leveling out, to me it was high.
Right.
I felt high, but you were taking it with the airspeed all the way down to where you were.
Exactly. Don't get me wrong, I'm glancing and I'm looking at it. It's just at a certain point, if you've nailed your airspeed coming over the runway, you don't need to look at it again. Because you know you've got it.
Check 391, maintain visual separation, caution weight,
give yourself a little bit more power because it's starting to drop. There you go. There you go. I just needed that bump just to give you a little bit of altitude. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Eyes to the end of the runway. Don't become a passenger. Power idle. That's got to come back. There's one. There's two. 2 for 1.
I thought I had a good one there.
Alright man, this is going to be the last one.
Alright.
We are out of time. That approach was so much nicer.
Yeah, I like the approach. I felt good.
Check 391, base at your discretion.
Still having an issue with that last bit of drop.
It's like the last 5 seconds, you know.
Well, it's the last landing, and in all honesty, I've been surprised at how well Jim has done today. He's not been able to butter the bread as he wanted.
Well, I didn't lay as much butter as I thought I was going to.
No, yeah, I mean, I'm glad I didn't bring my bread.
Why are you laughing for? What, Chris, why are you laughing for?
But we both knew going into this that that's not what this was about. It was about seeing whether someone who hasn't flown for nearly 20 years can relearn, and Jim is well on his way. He's watched my channel for a long time, and Jim, when you watch this, I want you to know that your support is greatly appreciated. If you watching this at home would like to support me in my quest to make the most helpful and entertaining aviation videos, there are a few ways in which you can do that. You can sign up to my Patreon and gain access to exclusive content and other perks. You can go to my website and get some LewDix Aviation merchandise, or you could use my discount code when buying your Flying Eyes sunglasses. They are, hands down, the best sunglasses for pilots, and my code to save 10% is LewDix. But above all else, just having you watch my videos is a pleasure, and when you press that like button, it really helps me out.
And we'll get that nose down to the runway.
Negative power, go ahead. Cessna 5 Mike Charlie, make straight in runway 7.
There you go.
Straight in for runway 7
that nose to the runway, just like this. Just like this, perfect. Your airspeed's fine, you don't need to look at it anymore. Power idle. Eyes to the end of the runway, hold the nose up. Just hold it to the end, let the speed bleed off.
Cessna 8905, are you able to take a section head?
There we go. Mike control, sir.
You control that traffic on the left, now in departure to the west. Cessna 55297, 5 runway.
Yeah, it's almost like I said before. I'm behind the airplane.
Yes.
Right. So I felt myself getting less behind.
Yeah.
Just at that last, like you said, the last 5 seconds. If I get behind, I'm not catching up quite as quick. But I think that comes with you.
Yeah, 100%. Again, you've not done this since 2004. This was never going to be perfect. I'm surprised it's been as good as it's been. You're on the first one, bit shaky on the traffic pattern, bit shaky on the altitude and the speeds and stuff, and playing with the power. But like you said, over time, it's gotten so much better. Like you're flying the traffic pattern, just doing more of it, and getting some consistency.